Let's now go to our debate. We are joined here in the studio and outside of it. We have Jayati Ghosh, who's a professor of economics at the School of Social Sciences in JNU. Joining us, Vikramjit Singh Sani, President, International Chamber of Commerce, is here with us in the studio. We also have Ashok Desai, former Chief Advisor in the Finance Ministry, is here on the show. Pankaj Gupta, economist and director Oxy Healthcare, continues to stay on with us. Nilotpal Basu is here from the CPM, and Vivek Reddy, leader of the BJP, all of them joining us tonight. Okay, let me just start off with you, Jayati, to just ask you that, and we were having this conversation yesterday after the economic survey, but now we have the budget before us, that is this, as the government's official line or spin on this, is that this is a budget that is taking us towards this 8% growth, $5 trillion economy goal. Do you see that anywhere in this budget?
Well, first of all, just about the arithmetic, if you have 8% growth it will take you 11 years to get to $5 trillion.
Right.
So maybe there's some other thing they need to factor in. They clearly need a higher rate of growth than 8%, just if they really want to get to 5 trillion in 5 years.
Yes.
Not that I think that is particularly a significant goal. What I find fascinating about the discussion we just heard is that it's all still in the sky. I think the economic surveys talked about blue sky thinking. It's all blue sky thinking. There are no steps. You want to get there, what are you going to do? You want more investment, so do we all. What are you going to do to get that? You want more employment, you want the demographic dividend, so do we. What is your plan for achieving that? So this is an extraordinary budget because it's not changing anything. You look at the numbers.
Yes.
In fact, there's hardly any increase in most things. The only big increase is in the Ministry of Agriculture, which is the announcement made for PM Kisan before the elections.
Yes, it was already done in the
72,000
interim
crore,
budget.
That was already sort of done. That's over. That's the only one.
Yes.
Everything else, all the major sectors, they are increasing at the same rate of expected nominal GDP growth, which is 11%. None of them is growing much faster. Some of them are growing at 5, 6%. So yes, expenditures have gone up, but well below the rate of nominal GDP growth. It's not something exciting. There's no big push anywhere that I can see in expenditure. And as for the tax and revenue raising, I just want to make one point, which I think has been missed in the discussion so far.
Yes.
This is a government that is deeply centralizing in tax revenues. I made a rough calculation, at least 16% is coming in cesses and surcharges, which they do not have to share with the states. It's probably more. I got at least up to 16%.
Okay.
That's a lot of money to be taking away from Finance Commission awards.
Okay.
That's a deeply centralizing move.
Okay, that's an interesting angle.
Denying states revenue.
Okay, that's an interesting angle. But let me just ask Vivek Reddy, because Vivek, Jayati was saying that she is not seeing any new numbers in the budget. P. Chidambaram just held a press conference. He's saying he's not seeing any numbers at all. He's saying this is a very opaque budget. This is what his statement says. He says, has there ever been a budget speech that does not disclose the total revenue, total expenditure, revenue deficit, additional revenue mobilization, or the financial concessions? Has there ever been a budget speech that does not disclose allocations to important programs like Narega, midday meal, healthcare, so on and so forth?
Well, Vasu, I think at the end of the speech, after part B, the finance minister has clearly stated that the actual allocations are there in the schedules or in the annexures to the budget.
Right.
So there is no doubt about that, or there is no dispute about that. That is one.
But why not announce it as part of the speech, which has always been the norm? Why not disclose to the public?
Well,
how many people actually of the ordinary viewers, public, can actually go and read annexures? We all get the information from the speech. What is the secrecy?
Well, it is placed before the parliament and the people of India. When it is placed before the parliament and people of India, the whole budget, irrespective of what is read and what is not read, is part of the finance bill.
Okay.
So the whole finance bill contains it.
Right.
And I don't think there should be any qualms raised on that. But coming to Jayati's concern, I think one hallmark of this budget, Vasu, which we need to remember, is that the three areas of main concern, first of all, investments. Second, shoring up of tax resources. And third, the manner in which the government is putting it to social security. To social
you didn't
welfare.
mention jobs or,
I think
or
these
rural,
are the
which I would have
three
thought you would have mentioned.
But
if you talk about investment, if you talk
Yes,
about
for
investment, if you talk about
Yes.
investment, how do you respond to the criticism that
Yes.
this whole spin which
Yes.
we are hearing, that we are now marching towards $5 trillion economy, 8% growth, where in this budget is there anything
Correct.
which concretely tells you that it's going to increase investment to that extent? Where do we see that?
Well, I think the finance minister has spent much time building on the vision and the plan and the blueprint on which he intends to make this possible.
No, but give me one specific example.
What
Sorry
she
to
said
interrupt.
was, first of all,
One example.
70,000 crore, 70,000 crore committed to financing the banks. This is a huge investment that is coming up.
This is not a new thing.
The
Sorry to say.
encouragement and the impetus given to NBFCs.
Yes.
This is a huge investment. And see how the government wants to raise 1,05,000 crore on disinvestment. Aren't these, Vasu, what I'm telling is, aren't these
Yeah.
the clear objectives of the government
Right.
in order to raise and boost investments? This is one. 1 lakh crores for investment.
Can I
this
just-
is also put into the basket over the next 5 years.
Can I just come in on this? Can
Yes.
I come in on this? Because, and let me just go to Mr.
Yes,
Ashok
please.
Desai. I'm coming to each of you one by one. Because Ashok Desai, if he just mentioned the 2 points that he mentioned on bank recapitalization and on disinvestment. So, bank recapitalization, this 70,000 crores is not new. This was already announced in the interim budget, and this has been now an annual feature. So, 25,000 crores in 16, 10,000 crores in 17, 65,000 crores in 18, now it's come to 70,000 crores. As far as disinvestment is concerned, the target set is for 1 lakh crores. But in the past 5 years of this government, they have missed the disinvestment target every year, except for one financial year, 18-19, like all governments have in the past. So, again, where is the big or new idea that is marching us towards this great future?
In these two areas, there is absolutely no connection between the budgets and the achievement in the last 5 years.
Right.
And I don't expect that the two will get any closer
Right.
the next year.
Right. So, you don't see any big movement at all as far as these two areas are concerned. But Mr. Sani,
Yes, sir.
do you see $5 trillion suddenly now coming closer to us?
I think FM have already said we are embarking at 3 trillion economy. And with this recapitalization of, we all know what are the NPAs, what are the headwinds Indian businesses are facing, or whatever you call willful defaulters. So this 70,000 crore is okay, whether it was announced previously or now. It will give some, I think, impetus to the Indian financial system to restructure. And I think we do hope that, like the case of Jet Airways, we do hope that government will try to restructure and not allow the businesses to collapse. They can
Jet Airways collapsed. I mean,
No,
they were trying to save it, but it didn't work
but
out.
therefore, I think the Indian financial sector, maybe you can change this has been our stand, that you can change the promoters, but you can't allow, for example, I just took this example, that how this went, but together with 70,000 crore, 100 lakh crore on the infrastructure, what they are saying. So let us hope that this will bring in some investment. But one of the important sectors, as Jayati was saying, is that this budget has not dwelt upon the agriculture sector, as she just pointed out in her opening remarks.
I'll come to agriculture in a second. I don't want to interrupt, but I just want to ask you that as a businessman yourself, my simple question to you is that government is expecting that this budget will stimulate massive private investment. Private investment, as we know, has been steadily going down.
Yes.
Do you feel encouraged after this?
I think
do you think you would like to invest more after this?
I think we are daily coming across such instances where Indian corporates or Indian entrepreneurs are not investing in India. They are going globally. Although there's nothing bad in going globally, in having backward tie-ups in Africa and here and there.
But is this going to change after the budget is what I'm asking you. Do you see anything in the budget that substantially will make them change their mind or no? If the answer is no, that's fine. You can say that.
No, the only positive thing is the demand is there, the GDP. They see, of course, India is a rising economy, and there is a demand. So So corporates will invest.
Right.
But I personally feel maybe like on the corporate tax, they have only dwelt with companies dealing with 400 crores. They have been saying 25, 27%. But again, they have pegged 25% only to turnover, companies having turnover of less than 400 crores. So all those mega companies have been left
they
outside
claim,
that.
Right. Okay. Nirmala Sitharaman claims that still covers 99% of companies,
but
only leaves out 1%.
But sir, Srinivasji, 0.7% companies pay the maximum tax. We have to also
which
see.
Is also true.
Yeah.
Which is also true. These are the mega companies. Nilotpal Basu, your response, because one argument being made about the fact that this budget contains no big surprises, no big announcements or increases, and we just heard one of the bureaucrats explain this, is because we just had the interim budget in February, where already these allotments, a lot of these allotments were made, and where also certain tax concessions were extended. So the argument being given is, well, it just happened in February, so to expect it to happen again in a few months is unrealistic.
You see, this is at the same time election mode budget, yet a post-election budget. Election mode budget requires more of what you call jumla. So this new mantra of 5 trillion economy, and it is also a post-election budget, because you have to pay back all those people who have funded your election campaign.
Right.
Therefore, largely the changes that we have seen in different rules and regulations and procedures is to facilitate greater flow of capital to not only the global finance capital, but also within the country, the Indian.
But I just want to jump in to say that there is a tax surcharge on the super rich.
Saddening.
There is a tax surcharge on the super rich.
7%.
You see, Basu, there is, I mean, I don't know about the religiosity of the finance minister, but I think the whole budget smacks of expectation of some kind of a divine intervention. I mean, just opening up sector after sector to portfolio investment and to FDI, whether that can translate into actual physical investment, only through divine intervention that can happen. Because you see, what is ailing our economy is a massive unemployment, it's agrarian distress, it is industrial stagnation.
Right.
And as a result of this, I will just take 1 minute. That unless you address the question of incomes of people, sustainable incomes, of livelihood and of employment, you see, you cannot create the demand whereby that will really lead to and facilitate investment.
Right, Vivek.
I mean, no investor is going to come. You have already heard that Indian investors, Indian corporates are going elsewhere for greener pastures.
That they've been doing for some time, but of course,
something which is
there's no harm in that as long as they're also
economy.
investing in India. Okay, let me just go back to Vivek, because Vivek, yesterday in the economic survey said the focus will just be investment. And the idea was to increase and boost private investment. Clearly said that we don't want to take the public investment route. We don't want to upset the fiscal deficit. But in this budget, there's very little that gives you a sense why there should be private investment. If anything, the government says they're now committed to spending 100 lakh crores in 5 years on public investment in infrastructure. That's a huge amount of money. Vivek.
Yes.
And we also don't know where is that coming from.
It is the yes, I think in any economy, Vasu, first of all, it is the dual growth engines, that is the private and the public, which join together in order to really trigger the economy or really give the boosters to the economy. This is number one. Second is, the government has this ambitious target of building up a resource of 1 lakh crore for infrastructure. and investing it in infrastructure. Because
100 lakh crores.
I think only when
100 lakh,
the
not
government
1 lakh.
does the major
100 lakh crores. Sorry, just to
100,
correct.
100 lakh crore, yes. 100 lakh crore, yes.
20,000
Yes.
crores
I
a
think
year.
whenever the government does this,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
whenever government does this sort of a huge investment in infrastructure, that's when the economy grows, because it encourages private participation, private involvement, and it also triggers employment. I think this
Where
is
is that-
the
but
consequence that emerges.
Vivek,
But what
where is the money? Where is
just-
that
just
money
give-
going to
just give me a
come
second.
from? Where is the money going to come from? I mean, leave aside the fact that this
I
is
think the
exactly
government-
the opposite of what the economic survey was suggesting, that we don't want to go down that route. Now they've gone completely the other way. Leave that aside. Where is the money for this going to come from?
Now, if you look at the growth of Indian tax collections, Vasu, from at the stage of around 2014, we were collecting 6.2 lakh crores, 6.37 lakh crores as direct tax collections. Today, in 5 years, we have escalated to 11.38 crores, lakh crores. So you find enhancement of about 5 lakh crores, and that is almost about 90%, 85 to 90% of the original budget in 2014. So how has the budget grown? That's a big question. The budget has grown because of the policies of the government,
That's not
and
the
how the
budget.
government has mopped up these
Only the
resources
direct revenue.
through various
Not
means.
budget.
Yes.
And the mopping up of resources,
That's
Vasu, just
direct
give me a
revenue, by
second.
the way. Yeah.
The mopping
Not
up of
total revenue.
resources
Okay.
is through
not
tax
total.
collections,
Okay,
is
Jayati.
through encouraging investments,
Okay.
and also encouraging private investment.
Okay, Jayati, on this 100 lakh crore figure, we were doing some research, and it's quite remarkable, because according to the economic survey, we annually spend only 7 to 7.5 lakh crores on infrastructure. I'm not sure if this is just public spending or is it a mixed combination of public and private spending, but government has given this figure which projects a
It's
spending of 3 times that amount. So again, one has to wonder where these numbers are coming from.
Well, I can tell you they're not coming from the budget figures, because I actually looked in detail at the expenditure budget, and it's
Okay.
not there. Okay? If you look at the Ministry of Roads and Transport, you get an increase of 6%, just under 6%, 5.8%.
Okay.
If you look at various other ministries, the increases are 5%, 4%, and so on. So it's not coming in the budget. This
It's not there.
100,000 crore that is being talked about, there's no allocation in the budget. It's not there in the budget. At least I have looked
Wow.
through the expenditure budget, I have looked through the demand for grants, you
Okay.
can't find it.
Okay.
I have also,
So,
by the way,
that's the
incidentally,
end of
looked
that.
for Ayushman Bharat. You
Okay.
cannot find Ayushman Bharat. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare allocation has gone up by about 15,000 crore, but the increase is still there for Jan Swasthya Bima Yojana, which was supposed to have been rendered defunct by the Ayushman Bharat.
Right.
And it's a very small increase. It goes from about 2,000, from about 4,000 to about 6,500. I mean,
Right.
very, very small increase.
Right.
So basically, there are no increases in the budget. The reason Ms. Sitaraman did not mention the numbers is because the numbers would be embarrassing.
Wow. This is something that we will now have to go back and check, because to be honest, I don't think we've got to the stage where we were actually checking
Yeah, please look at the demand for grants. Please look at the expenditure
about.
budget.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we will do that. Nitin Desai, I mean, are you
So
surprised?
this is going to be done over the process of 5 years. So this 1 year need not contain the entire 5-year, the 5-year outlay. This is
No,
an
no.
outlay for 1 year.
No, no, but
So
Vivek,
Jayati,
you can't.
Please don't, please
no,
don't
no.
say that it is not reflected. The whole 1 lakh
to
crore may
begin.
not be reflected.
No, no, Vivek, if you
It will
announce
take-
something.
It will take 5 years.
If you
This is the
announce
projection.
something in the budget, it has to be there as part of the budget document. Yes.
Is this a budget for 5 years, Vasu? Is this a budget for 5 years? It is not
but
a
it
budget
has
for
to
5
be in.
years.
But
This
it
is a
has to
budget
be
for
in
1
this
year.
year's budget
Okay,
document.
which part of the 100,000 crore?
Not necessarily. This is a finance bill of this year.
Which,
Jayati,
how
this is
much
a-
of it are you
right?
spending
Last
this
This is
year?
a projected
And where
cost.
is it?
1.0, they
This
were
is a
able to
projected cost.
No, no, but Vivek, it was
1
announced
lakh
in this
crores
budget. It has to
Is a
reflect.
projected investment.
It has to reflect
So you
in this
will have to
budget
go about it, look
paper.
at it at each financial year
Vasu,
as the government escalates.
Yes, Nitin.
Vasu.
Yeah, yeah.
I think basically, can I?
Vasu.
Yes,
First,
yes.
I think.
Nilotpal Da, 1 second.
I-
I'm coming to you,
let me
Nilotpal Da.
repeat.
1 second. Can I just go to Nitin Desai for a second? Nitin Desai, yes.
just a very vital point, you see.
Basically, the
Nilotpalda, 1 second,
the resource-
Nilotpalda. I'm coming to you. Nitin Desai, yes.
I think the resource basis for this budget is very weak. If you see the budget projections of revenue, they amount to a 25% increase on the provisional actuals for 18-19. I don't think that is possible. I think in all likelihood this year the budget deficit will not be 3.3%. The real deficit will be probably closer to 4 like it is this year. It may be disguised by pushing forward expenditures onto public sector corporations, things like subsidies being pushed on to the borrowings of FCI and so on. Second, in terms of what does it mean for boosting investment, I'd say yes, sure, they have done certain things for startups or small enterprises.
Yes.
But I see nothing in the budget which would enthuse the corporate boardrooms to invest.
Right.
And you can talk of PPP in infrastructure,
Yeah.
but you can't get PPP in infrastructure if the government is mobilizing practically all of the households' financial savings.
Yes.
Where do you expect the private sector to bring resources from? From
Right.
thin air? So I'd say that there must be some systematic thinking of where the money is going to come from.
Right.
It cannot come from thin air. You know? So I'd say that there is
Right.
a problem in this big number of 100,000. In fact, I think railways, Nirmala Sitharaman herself mentioned this, that the requirement is 50 lakh crores and the annual expenditures are of the order of 1 or 1.5 lakh crores.
Right.
She herself mentioned it in her speech.
Right.
And that is repeated everywhere. So I'd say let's be realistic in terms of what is it that we can do.
Right.
Yeah, look, all budgets do this, I know that.
Yes.
But really, this budget's base in a fiscal base is not a very convincing one.
Okay, Nilotpalda, you wanted to come in.
I am saying the most serious aspect of this budget is the fraud that this budget plays on the parliamentary system. Vasu, you can call me old-fashioned, but in parliamentary democracies, budget and passage of budget is the prerogative of the parliament. And it is presumed that the budget should be presented with figures, firm figures, on the basis of which the parliament will firm up its opinion and will either endorse or dis-endorse the budget.
Right.
But it is clearly a massive fraudulent fudging exercise. Therefore, I mean, this is a real onslaught on the parliamentary system of accountability of the government to the parliament and to the people through the forum of parliament.
Okay, I'm going to get Vivek
If
to
the
respond to that in a
figures have not been
second.
given, Vasu,
I'm going to give Vivek a
this
chance to
argument
respond
was
to
right,
that.
but the
Vivek,
figures
I'm
are
coming to
given.
you. I'm going to give you a chance. You know that we always come to you, but I just want to quickly get a
Thank
view
you.
from Pankaj on this, because Pankaj, you know, all governments do a little bit of creative number jugglery with budgets, but when you have situation like this is a bit surprising. I mean, you know, numbers are announced, you can't find them in the budget paper.
See, they will have no escape route this time. So if they have said something, I'm sure they had something in mind. Nirmala ji has said that you know you can find all the details in the annexures,
Right.
which we haven't yet gone through. But they will do it. See, this government, Mr.
When
Modi
you
is
say
a
no
big
es-
dreamer. I'll tell you, he's a big dreamer. Now, if he has said it's 5 trillion crore economy he's going to make, so that's his vision. He wants to go there.
$5 trillion economy,
Yeah. So he wants to go there. Now, to go there, he is doing everything possible. He's doing ease of doing business. He's making things very transparent. He's, you know, simplifying things. He's doing direct benefit scheme. He's doing so that there's no middleman. There's no cut.
What did you mean when you said this time there's no escape route?
There's no escape means next time. Okay, whenever he comes next, he cannot say just because Congress was there for 55 years, we could not do it. No, you know, he was there in power for 5 years. So he's answerable this time. So whatever they have been doing it.
You have to deliver this time.
They have thought about it.
Okay.
And I hope
well, let's
we are
see.
in safe hands.
Well, let's see. Have to take a short break. When we come back, we'll focus on the crucial question of jobs, the absence or the presence of it in this budget. Okay, welcome back. Let me just go straight across to Rajiv Talwar, who joins us also on the show today. Great to have you always as ever, Rajiv. Now, one of the things, Rajiv, that this budget
Hi, Vasu.
Hi. Was supposed to look at or was supposed to address was the question of jobs, of employment, but the criticism has been that it has been largely silent on the jobs front. What do you take away from the budget when it comes to jobs?
Vasu, for me, as far as I am concerned, this is a vision statement for a $5 trillion economy with an intermediate target of achieving a $3 trillion economy by the end of this financial year.
Okay.
It also says that yes, there will be infrastructure development, which is very, very huge. There will be investment by the MSME sector. There will be a digital India in the offing, and which is of course taking place right now. And hopefully it is being open to foreign direct investment, foreign portfolio investment. There is additional liquidity coming into banks. There is recapitalization of banks, which should mean greater credit not only for NBFCs, but yes, now all this, whether it is Bharatmala, whether it is Sagarmala, whether it is highways and the freight corridors, investment into all these and more so by the private sector, and opening up of lands of the central ministries and central public sector enterprises should mean not only greater affordable housing, where land should be at zero really, but more than that 1.95 crore rural homes. I think all that will mean investment and jobs. But this is clearly a budget which will require very detailed implementation and figures. And this will require very close monitoring, because to convert these into figures of mathematics will be a very huge task for bureaucracy.
No, but that's why I wanted to ask you, Rajiv, because you know when you say vision statement, I mean a budget is not supposed to just be a vision statement, right? It's supposed to give you concrete policy measures and allotments to back those measures to then take you towards your goal. Now, many of the things that you mentioned, whether it's Bharatmala, whether it's the Pradhan Mantri's rural housing scheme, etc., even the recapitalization of the public sector banks, this is all ongoing. This has been happening for the past several years, and it's substantially nothing new. So, what is the new big idea or the new big incentive that would get people like yourself in the private sector to increase the investment, which then leads to jobs and so on and so forth? Where is that big idea or big policy decision?
And obviously,
policy decision.
Well, I think the big idea from us was, as far as housing is concerned, that yes, there should have been some incentive, which is in that 3.5 lakhs for affordable housing, that if you're buying a house which is really 45 lakhs worth, over the next 15 years, it will be almost free.
Is that good enough? Is that going to drive investment?
I think those are the kind of schemes, they'll have to work it out.
Is that going to drive in, is that going to push up more investment?
Of course, huge amount of investment into affordable housing. It's definitely in, except for these 3 or 4 super metros where a house may not be available for 45 lakhs. Otherwise, it will. In other cities, it will drive up investment. And 90% of the demand is for affordable housing. In rural households, 300 square feet house will be a very big house for the poor. So, those are, I mean, green shoots, or those are programs which can promote investment. But I think the real thing will be to open up for foreign investment, and each sector has been allowed that whatever be with the permissible, you can go up to that limit. So, hopefully, I think we are expecting a lot of FDI and FPI investment coming in.
Well, hope is always a good idea, but whether it actually gets converted. Vivek, I want to just ask you on jobs.
The detail,
the devil is in the detail. Vivek Reddy, I wanted to ask you about jobs though, because in an indirect sense, you can always say that the budget is meant to ensure the economy grows and growth produces jobs. But in a more concrete, specific sense, there is virtually nothing on jobs in this budget. Why?
I didn't get you, Vasu.
My question was on jobs. Why is the budget silent on jobs? No mention of jobs, or virtually no mention of jobs.
No, I don't think so, Vasu. I think you must know, you must understand that first of all, the approach to jobs has been multifold. When you open up investments in all sectors, that's when you generate jobs. So when the government talks about a slew of measures to open up investments, whether it is government investment, whether it is participation of private entities in PSUs, public sector undertakings, or whether it is the encouragement given to private enterprises by funding capital to them, by allowing capital to be accessible to them.
Right.
Whether it is the slew of measures given to startups, huge measures given to startups.
Yeah.
I think all these are the circumstances, are some foundational material here, which will really gear up to trigger the jobs market.
Okay.
And that is why this budget, unlike the previous budgets, this budget has been very bold and daring in taking up these challenges.
Bold and daring.
And in ensuring that these issues are taken up by the government and ensuring that these are dealt with. So therefore, Vasu, I feel the big ticket reforms, the major reforms that you see in this finance bill are there, and these are the ingredients that will take it up
big ticket
to
reform?
a $5 trillion economy.
No, can you name one
Yes,
big ticket
absolutely.
reform?
Look at the
One.
NBFCs. Look at the NBFCs. Capital to be unlocked in favor of NBFCs. The guarantee given by the government. Kindly
Is that a
see.
reform?
There's
Or
one
is that a
another
kind of a
issue we
bailout?
forgot. There's one another issue we forgot.
Okay.
Do you know?
Let
do
me
you
just
know that
quickly,
in the
because I'm running
pension
out of
scheme-
time.
In the pension scheme, let me just make out a point.
Very quickly,
Vasu,
I need
in the
to.
pension scheme,
I need to move on.
Yes. Pension scheme. You have 3 crore people participating in the pension scheme of shopkeepers, and all the money, the contributions given by them. For example, in the workers' pension scheme, you already have 30 lakh enrollments.
Okay.
The
Can I just ask,
contributions
Ashok?
made by them
Okay. Can I
also
just,
form a corpus for investments.
okay. Yes. Sorry. Yes. You wanted to come in. On jobs.
No, on the jobs, FM announced setting up of about 100 new clusters, industry-based clusters. Then she also announced
These are for crafts
artisans. Where she said, okay, 50,000
bamboo, etc.
Yeah, honey, 50,000 artisans. Then she also announced 25,000 technology incubators to produce to create jobs in the agri-processing, agri-rural sector. So there was something. Then investments, then industrialization and FDI.
Did you see anything at all in this budget which suggested that this could help stimulate jobs?
I myself think that they have forgotten all about jobs. I think they are assuming that jobs will increase. After all, we are going to increase investment, we are going to increase expenditure, and so on. Why worry about jobs? Jobs will come.
Build and they will come, as they say.
We all confuse unemployment and jobs. We interrelate. The idea is for a person to make money, right? Prime Minister Modi has been talking about it, that he would encourage startups all throughout, whether it is in India or his international visits. And he has, look at the budget. He has given everything, whatever is possible for startups to happen. I think what he wants is people to start their own work, right? Even if the negative comment was there once when he spoke about pakode wala, chai wala, right? Just think about it, that he wants people to have their own work. They should be able to generate enough money by which they can sustain. So don't talk job. Unemployment and jobs is 2 different things. So
but when you talk about the fact that the idea that the pakoda wala itself is also in some ways a job creator, or he's actually unemployed, I'm saying, how is that substantially different from earlier? Because 90% of our economy is in the informal sector, and people find, even if you don't have a formal job, you will sit on the payroll and sell pakodas.
What
does that have to do with the government?
But we are running a national skill development program also. That's another matter. We have to align the skill development program to the employability. We agree with you.
Okay.
When he's when he's talking about this in the international forum, international platform, a lot of money is going to come in the country, because when you are positive, people see that, okay, your government is stable, you are talking positive, you have a vision.
Right.
So not only FDI, FII, FPI, but also the private investment is going to come into this, which has not been coming for a few years now.
I mean, it's always good to be optimistic. Nilotpal Basu, quick last word from you on jobs. Do you think that, do you see anything in this budget which suggests that this could encourage job creation?
Because the BJP spokespersons have spoken so much repeatedly about hope, and I come from the land of Tagore, that I have decided tonight before going to sleep, I will going to again revisit all my readings of Tagore on hope, and see what comes of it in the next 5 years.
Okay, so come back and join us on our next show and quote from Tagore.
Be positive, Nilotpalji. We will make it happen.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you all for joining us. Vivek, you stay. Thank you all for joining us. We take a short break. We come back. We look at this budget even more closely. Moment from now.